Hey folks, it's the Car Chick. I'm out here at a small car dealership looking at a couple of vehicles for a client of mine who needs a reliable car for her teenage son. And I wanted to just do this quick video because when you look at a couple cars online, they can look very similar, or one can look better than the other on paper, but there is no substitute for looking at the cars in person and getting a mechanic to do an inspection. This little Corolla here, we're looking at, $5,000, $6,000 cars. And on paper, this little Toyota Corolla looked better. It was a one-owner car, no accidents, it's a little bit cheaper, and on paper, going through the 30 things I look at on a Carfax report and the 10 quality criteria, we thought the Corolla was going to be their #1 choice. The Civic was our second choice. It has a little accident on the Carfax report and a couple other things that made it our second choice. But guess what? Looking at both cars in person, totally different story. So let me show you what I looked at on both cars and tell you why we picked the Civic over the Corolla. The very first thing you want to check on any used car is to see how well the engine has been maintained. And to do that, we're going to pull the dipstick, assuming the car has one, but fortunately these do. And you can see here that the oil, it's got fresh oil in it, but as you go up the dipstick, you can see how it's got some staining, and then all the way up here at the top, it's even burned. That tells me that the oil in this car has not been changed on a regular basis, and that's definitely worrisome. So we'll stick that back in here. Next, we're going to pull the oil cap, which is really tight. Yuck, yeah. So if you look in here, you can see there's a lot of staining around the edge, and looking inside, it is all dark and stained, and there's even some, looks like, like the burned edges of a brownie in here. That means that this oil has not been maintained. And what that's going to mean is this engine is not going to have as long a life. This car only has 113,000 miles on it, which for a Corolla should barely be middle-aged. But with that engine, it's more like it has 180 to 190,000 miles on it. And when we started it up earlier, there was a lot of rattling noise, which says that the timing chain tensioner system has gotten loose. And that happens when you don't change the oil. So that tells me this engine has not been well maintained. Combine that with some bald tires and a few other things that haven't been maintained, and I just don't trust this car. So we're going to go look at the Civic now. Doing the same thing on this Honda, the first thing I notice is that the valve cover gasket has recently been changed with a good quality gasket, so they've done that maintenance. And the dealer told me that. But looking at this oil dipstick, the oil's a little dirty and could stand to be changed, but looking up the dipstick, nice and clean. So this engine has been better maintained. Pulling off my oil cap here. Yep, not too bad. It's pretty shiny in there, so this engine has been maintained much better. My mechanic also pulled out, looked at the spark plugs, we looked at the mother fluids, the transmission fluid is clean, where it was dirty on the Corolla. The timing belt hasn't been done, and that's going to be due here within the next couple thousand miles, but that's just normal maintenance. And this car has 4 brand new Michelin tires on it. So overall, we looked at about 130 things on both cars, and even though the Corolla looked better on paper, the Civic is definitely the better car and is worth paying $1,000 more. So I'm going to tell my client we're going to buy the Civic. If you're looking for a used car, no matter what the price range, it is always worth paying $100 to have a master certified technician put his hands or her hands on the car and inspect it for you, because you just can only learn so much from the paperwork. You got to see what really is under the hood. So folks, I hope this has helped, and if you need a good used car, make sure you get that inspection, or just call me, visit me at thecarchick.com. Thanks so much, enjoy your weekend.